Hello everyone and welcome to Ravnica Guilds. This is episode 1 and I'm going to be introducing this new series that I decided to make. Alright, so there are 10 guilds of Ravnica and the first one is the Azoria Senate. Their leader is Asperia. Their champion is Lavinia of the 10th. Now their keyword is detain. What it does, basically you can choose a creature or a non-land permanent when the card with detain enters the battlefield, and basically it can't attack or block and it can't use activated abilities. For example, if you detained a morph card, then it wouldn't be able to unmorph due to the fact that that's an activated ability. Now, however, if you tried to detain a sliver, it would still get its ability due to the fact it's not activated. It wouldn't be able to attack or block, but it's still able to get its ability to other slivers. Now the Boros Legion is an interesting guild due to the fact that they're all oriented around war. Their leader is Aurelia, who's an angel, and their champion is Tajik or Tajik. The keyword is battalion, and as you can see, it's in italics, meaning each card with battalion has a special ability. Most are like buffing them up. They gain first strike, flying, +2. Tajik, however, gains +5/+5. Basically, Boros are all about fighting. They want to win and they want to overpower you. They have the white part where they just buff up their creatures and play morph, and then they have the red side, where they just burn you out. The Gruul clans are a clan that are they take over abandoned spots out all around Ravnica. The leader is Borborgmos, and the champion is Rurik Thar. The keyword is Blood Rush, also in italics, and you can pay a mana cost to discard it, but whatever its power and toughness is, you can put Blood Rush onto another attacking creature, and it'll get that buff. For example, Skinbrand Goblin. It's a 2/1 where Blood Rush is 1 red, and you can discard it and give any attacking creature +2/+1 until end of turn. And a lot of cards have Blood Rush, and most of them are actually useful due to the fact that their Blood Rush cost is less than the cost that it costs to play them. The Golgari Swarm are an Undercity guild. They take care of business in the Undercity, food supply for the poor, and other things. Their leader is Gerard. Their champion is Varels the Scar-Striped, and their keyword is Scavenge. Basically, they have a scavenge cost, and when they're in the graveyard, you can pay that scavenge cost to exile it, but put that many +1/+1 counters on any creature, and the +1/+1 is equal to the exiled creature's power. For example, you have Drudge Beetle. It casts for 1 and a green for a 2/2, but its scavenge cost is 5/3 green, I'm pretty sure, and you can exile it from your graveyard and to put 2 1/1 counters on any creature on your battlefield. Now Varels, he gives every card in your graveyard scavenge, every creature card that is. So with scavenge you can just completely buff up all your creatures. Now the Izzet League, they're all centered around spells, instants and sorceries, to be exact. The leader is Niv Mizzet, their champion is Melik. Their keyword is Overload, which is completely centered around instants and sorceries. Some instants and sorceries have Overload, where they choose a target or two, and they do something to it. Now Overload, it says each. It'll replace target with each, meaning it can't, Hexproof won't work, and Shroud won't work either, because it says each. So there's a card Cyclonic Rift for 1 and a blue, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, with an overload cost of 6 and a blue, and it says each, so you return everything that an opponent controls back to their hand, which is very annoying. And as you can tell, red and blue, all about spells. Red drawing, red burning, and just smiting you out, and blue is drawing cards, gaining life, sort of that. The Simic Combine. Their leader is Zagana, their champion is Vorel of the Whole Clade. Their keyword is Evolve. Evolve is a very annoying mechanic to play against, especially if you have very weak creatures that have Evolve. What Evolve does is, if a creature with Evolve, if another creature with higher power or toughness than the creature with Evolve comes into play, you put a 1/1 counter on the weaker creature with Evolve. Now, this with many Evolve creatures, and then you just play a card that's super powerful, and then everything will just evolve. There are a lot of cards that give Evolve buffs, like if you put a 1/1 counter on target on any creature, that creature gets another 1/1 counter. Now, this is sort of a problem because if let's say the Izzet returns all your cards to your hand, then when you play them again, they lose all their counters. But if you're not playing against someone who can just remove all your creatures back to your hand, this late game will completely destroy your enemies. The Orzhov Syndicate is a lawyer type guild. Their leader is Obzedat, and their champion is Teysa Karlov, which you probably recognize from the old Ravnica set. Their new keyword is Extort. What Extort does is whenever you play a spell, like a creature will have Extort, and whenever you play a spell, you may tap 1 black or 1 white. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. So if there were 3 opponents and you extorted, they would all lose 1 life and you would gain 3 life. This can be very annoying if you're playing a very large game, and it's also very effective if you have multiple extort creatures out on the battlefield and lots of spare mana. So this is an extreme life gain, and there are many cards in the Orzhov which depend on if you have more life and an opponent has little life, it'll get buffs. House Dimir is a secret guild. Their leader is Lazav. Their champion is Mirko Vosk, or Mirko Vosk. Their keyword is Cipher. What Cipher does is, it has an effect, and then, once the effect resolves, you can encode it onto any creature you control on the battlefield, and whenever that creature deals combat damage to any player, that spell that you encoded onto that creature will resolve again, and it'll happen again. My favorite card is Shadow Slice. It's 4 and a black for target player loses 3 life. With Cipher, you cipher it onto, let's say, a Death Cult Rogue, it's unblockable, and then you swing with Death Cult Rogue. They take 2 damage, and they take another 3 damage from Shadow Slice because it's encoded. The Selesnya Conclave, all about creature tokens. Their leader is Trostani, their champion is Imara Tandris, and they're sort of, they say they're passive, but in a way they're not passive at all. The keyword is Populate, which when you populate, you can put a copy of any creature token you have in play onto the battlefield. Basically, there are a bunch of cards with place creature tokens, and then they'll say Populate. So, Eyes in the Skies, it's a 3 and a white for place a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying onto the battlefield, then Populate. Now, Populate needs creature tokens, but a lot of cards previously play creature tokens, so you can just populate and just have a huge army of creature tokens that, even though they're vulnerable to bounce, there are many cards in Selesnya that'll buff them up, so they can't be bounced. The Cult of Rakdos is, in a way, they're evil, but they're much needed in Ravnica because they put on brilliant parties. Their leader is Rakdos, Lord of Riots, and their champion is Ixava, Blood Witch. Their keyword is Unleash. What it does is, a creature with Unleash can come into the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. Now this is good, but on the flip side, if it has a 1/1 counter on it, it cannot block. basically, it's taking a risk. If you want to just go all out aggro, just put Unleash on everything. But the problem is, if someone next turn will swing at you with everything, you can't block with any of them because they've 1/1 counters on it. So it's sort of a balance there, but it'll work. So thank you guys for watching this, and there will be more episodes of RAVNICAN guilds, basically reviewing each guild individually so I can go in more in depth, reviewing their intro packs and their mythics and things like that. So thank you for watching.